Carolina. You're taking a look at the Reeves Football Complex, where the Tigers have been scratching, clawing, and training for day one of the season so that they can rally the fans right here in Death Valley and open it up against an ACC rival, Georgia Tech. That's happening tonight at 8. What's happening right now on your screens is College Football Live. Welcome inside Death Valley. We're going 5 wide.
Let's go.
Okay, we've
right
got
out the gate.
What?
Can I lay out a disclaimer?
Go ahead.
Don't touch the desk.
My hands will be right here the whole time.
If y'all see me on TV like this, it's because the desk is hot.
It feels like a cast iron skillet right now. So my hands will be right here in my lap.
Yeah, that's how we're going to open. The babies are going to whine the whole time. You're going to see us sweating. Our ACC brethren are here.
Let's go.
This is E.J. Manuel, one of the most productive Florida State quarterbacks you've ever seen. How many wins? 25?
26.
26.
Well, who's counting?
Who's counting?
Bunch of championships.
Eric McLean, remember, he was an all-ACC offensive lineman, a
46
captain.
wins, so 20 more. No,
Yeah, 4 years to start now. Hey, don't take it there now. Don't take it there now. I'm going to start with you today, but it's all good.
Right. And those are just the usual suspects. We got David Mendez down there holding down the fort.
Yeah, just the Heisman Trophy winner.
I am just relishing the honor being able to talk to somebody else other than David Mendez to start out the college football season. Guys, let's start our conversation right here with Clemson, and I'm guessing everything has to start with Trevor Lawrence, the true freshman that took over mid-season and won a national championship for the Tigers. And Eric, we'll start with you. We'll talk your alma mater and kind of the expectations that you have for the sophomore, what improvements and changes he's going to make in year 2.
I think they're very lofty expectations. I think when you see what the kid did with a little bit of half playing time in those first couple of games, and then what he was able to do when it was his ship, it was truly amazing. And to see him go against Notre Dame, Alabama, some of the best defenses he went against, he only played better. So I think as the lights got brighter, he played better. Excited to see what he does year 2.
This is Tua-esque for me from a year ago. I mean, I came into the season last year and I expected huge things from Tua. I come into this season, I expect huge things. I expect better play than you saw a year ago. I expect this offense to be unstoppable. I expect this offensive numbers to points per game to go up by at least a touchdown. I mean, he's that kind of good. I have never seen a kid come in as a true freshman, Des, that I said he would have been the #1 overall pick in the draft last year. That he would have been. And he's back, obviously, for at least 2 more years. That's how good this kid was.
I tell you what, I think that Trevor Lawrence is going to have a monster season. I think he's going to put up some big numbers, but I think when he plays against some of the elite defenses, I believe that he will struggle. You say it's 2S. So you think about Tua a year ago. We all thought this kid was going to come here and win the Heisman after that national championship game against Georgia, right? You give Georgia time to study this kid, get some film on him. He didn't look as sharp when they played him again. You give Clemson and Brent Venables some time to study this kid, get some film. He didn't look sharp in that championship game. I think that against elite defenses, great defenses, Trevor Lawrence may struggle some this year because now you have footage to study of this kid, and everybody, I don't care who they are, everybody got weaknesses.
You know what stinks about that is that might be the playoffs if we first see that. I digress.
Hey, you don't want it to happen then. That's the worst time to happen, right? We saw Tua, right? They want that to happen then.
The only guy that's played in the ACC at quarterback is this guy.
I was going to say the biggest thing for him in year 2 is don't try to do too much. You know what I mean? Be who you are. You have a great supporting cast around you. You got a bunch of first-round picks at receiver. You got a first-round pick at running back. You got a great O-line. You got an awesome defense. You got a heck of a head coach. So to me, I mean, he just doesn't need to do too much. Just be yourself. Be Trevor Lawrence, and don't fall into all the hype because that's our job to talk about him. But he doesn't need to focus on that at all.
Okay, you're missing some of the supporting cast, and they're supporting preseason All-Americans. We're talking about T. Higgins. We're talking about Justin Ross, Travis
got some
Etienne.
ballers around him. So I mean, just do your thing.
So who are those guys that, I mean, Travis Etienne in his 3rd year, I believe he's one of those guys that could break every rushing record if that's what he chose to do in any given season.
I mean, Travis is a guy who I think, he could be a Heisman Trophy winner. The only problem is he's on the same squad as Trevor Lawrence. So they're going to split votes. But, I mean, for a guy who's 5'10", about 200 pounds, he runs with a lot of power. He's fast.
Sneaky power.
Exactly. So I love what he brings to the offense. And he's a guy who can get out there on the perimeter, make you miss. But he's actually effective in between the tackles, too. He can do a little wildcat. Etienne can do it all.
I think the biggest thing this year, again, and we talked about this on the Huddle E, is seeing how they use him in the pass game. We heard some quotes from camp, Trevor and him working after practice on his routes, on his hands. If he can do that, I mean, he's going to be a top draft pick at running back, if not the top draft pick. And just imagine how special that's going to make him in the college game.
I'm going to make you smile. How about Jackson Carman?
That was my play. You stole my player. Now I can't talk about it. Go ahead. This is a surprise. This is a surprise.
One name written
Keep
down
going. Keep going. Right. I got one note, and you just stole it.
I love it. Say Mitch Hyatt, a 4-year starter at left tackle. Now you're coming in there with a new guy, a new face. So that's a guy that is going to be a surprise. And can he hold up? The offensive line last year for Clemson was very underrated.
Yeah.
And do those guys up front protect them and create holes like they did a year ago? Because it was holes, Palooza, and it was protection. It was great protection. So those guys up front are going to play a big part.
Yeah, I think no doubt. They lost their center, a guy who started a bunch of years, but bringing a guy in from right tackle, he played a little guard last year, now moving him to center just because he's the best communicator. Going and see him practice, he was efficient. So I think it's going to be fun to see.
Efficient.
Yeah.
Efficient.
That's a good word.
He's okay. He's solid.
Well, I would say this, just to add, I want to see a level of growth as far as picking up protections and picking up blitzes. That was one thing that I noticed that Trevor needed to get better at. And naturally, all young quarterbacks, you struggle at it. You think you can throw it hot, you think you can throw it to your back in the flat, and sometimes that's a viable option. But a lot of times, you could change that protection, you could solid that thing up. Like you said, a first round or overall first pick, that's going to solidify it even more for himself.
I get it, and I love the fact that you guys all want to talk offense. But can we talk the fact about the Power Rangers are gone?
That's
so 5 of your top 6 sack
We got to stick to script, okay? I was trying to talk defense. You know how Xavier Thomas. I was thinking
I know it's a lot of offensive players up here, but we can still talk defense, David. Breakout stars that you see on that side.
Xavier Thomas, number 3 on the edge. Last year you saw flashes from him. He was a true freshman a year ago. You can see it. He's the next freak up because that's all they got is freak. Now, listen, they're not going to be as deep, but he's a guy that quick, set the edge and run. You don't worry about the run, but you also saw some good rushing the quarterback and pressuring the quarterback. No Farrell, no Lawrence, no Wilkins, Austin Bryant. All those guys gone. You're going to have to find somebody to get to the quarterback.
And you know who that's going to be is this true freshman, already listed as an or starter, so that's a big thing when you're already that number 1 option. Tyler Davis, number 13. Y'all don't know about him yet. I do because obviously I went here. It's going to be an absolute monster. Excited to see him tonight. They call him Baby Dex. And there's a reason for that. Dabo doesn't just dish out those compliments.
What does he bring to the defense? What type of player is he?
I think he's going to be exactly like Dexter Lawrence. He's a hole fielder. He's a guy that can get after the quarterback. Obviously not as big. He's not 6'6", 350.
Exactly.
But he's a smaller version that really is going to get after that. That's what they need.
And he's new, but Xavier Thomas and all these guys that were filling in, by the way, they were backups playing supporting roles.
Exactly.
So now those guys are the main guys playing all the snaps. So now it goes behind them, too, and the depth that they have to build throughout the season and grow, because that's going to be an important part of winning a championship.
Yeah, look, you supported, you got the ring, but now you get to put your stamp on a team, and that's the difference that they'll be able to make. Listen, we have had so much fun following Dabo, the Clemson Tigers, during the offseason. All the fans that come in here, I'm telling you one thing that they're going to be, and that's all in.